Welcome to today's video, where we'll delve into one of the most tragic and shocking events in recent American history, the 2014 Marysville Pilchuck High School shooting. This incident left a deep scar on the Marysville community in Washington state, as well as the nation. We'll explore the background of the shooter, the sequence of events, the immediate aftermath, and the broader implications of this heartbreaking tragedy. Background: Marysville Pilchuck High School, located in Marysville, Washington, was known as a typical suburban high school with a student body of about 1,200. It was a place where students from diverse backgrounds came together, including many from the nearby Tulalip Indian Reservation. Among these students was 15-year-old Jaylen Fryberg, a popular freshman who was well-liked by his peers. Jaylen Fryberg was a member of the Tulalip tribes and was involved in various school activities, including the football team. He was known for his charismatic personality, and many students saw him as a leader among his peers. However, beneath this seemingly happy exterior, Jaylen was dealing with significant emotional turmoil. He had recently broken up with his girlfriend and was struggling with feelings of rejection and anger. The day of the shooting, Friday, October 24th, 2014, started like any other day at Marysville Pilchuck High School. Students arrived for classes, greeted their friends, and settled into their daily routines. However, for Jaylen Fryberg, this day would mark the end of his emotional struggles and the beginning of a tragedy that would shock the nation. At around 10:39 a.m., during the school's lunch period, Jaylen entered the cafeteria where many of his classmates were gathered. He approached a table where several of his closest friends were sitting. Without warning, Jaylen pulled out a .40 caliber Beretta handgun that he had taken from his father's gun safe. The gun had been legally purchased by his father and was stored at home, but Jaylen had managed to access it. In a horrifying moment, Jaylen opened fire on his friends. The cafeteria, once filled with the sound of laughter and conversation, was now filled with chaos and terror. Students screamed and scrambled for cover as the gunshots rang out. Jaylen's first victim was Zoe Galasso, a close friend who had recently become romantically involved with another boy, a relationship that reportedly caused Jaylen great distress. Zoe was killed instantly. Next, he shot Gia Soriano and Shaylee Chuckle-Nasket, both of whom were critically injured and later died from their wounds. Jaylen also shot Andrew Fryberg, his cousin, who was severely wounded and later died in the hospital, and Nate Hatch, another cousin, who was seriously injured but survived. After firing at his friends, Jaylen turned the gun on himself, ending his life with a single shot to the head. Immediate aftermath. The aftermath of the shooting was chaotic and filled with confusion. Students fled the cafeteria, some running to safety while others tried to help the injured. The school went into lockdown and police and emergency responders rushed to the scene. Parents were notified of the shooting and many frantically made their way to the school, desperate for news about their children. The scene outside the school was one of heartbreak, as families waited for any information about their loved ones. Nate Hatch, the only survivor among those shot, was rushed to the hospital with a gunshot wound to the jaw. He would later undergo several surgeries, but ultimately survived the ordeal. The community of Marysville was left in shock and grief. Vigils were held, and the town came together to mourn the loss of 4 young lives and to support the survivors and the families affected by the tragedy. Motives and psychological analysis. As investigators looked into the circumstances leading up to the shooting, they sought to understand what drove Jaylen Fryberg to commit such a horrific act. Many were shocked that someone like Jaylen, who appeared to be well-adjusted and popular, could perpetrate such violence. One of the key factors identified was Jaylen's emotional distress over personal relationships. In the weeks leading up to the shooting, Jaylen had posted a series of disturbing messages on social media, expressing feelings of heartbreak and betrayal. These posts hinted at his growing anger and despair, but few, if any, recognized them as warning signs of the impending tragedy. Mental health experts suggest that Jaylen may have been struggling with depression and an inability to cope with rejection and loss. The access to a firearm, combined with these emotional struggles, created a perfect storm that led to the devastating events of October 24th. The role of social media. Social media played a significant role in both the lead-up to the shooting and the aftermath. Jaylen's troubling posts on Twitter and other platforms were later scrutinized as possible indicators of his mental state. In hindsight, these posts revealed a young man grappling with intense emotional pain, but at the time, they were largely overlooked. After the shooting, social media became a platform for mourning and support, but it also sparked debates about the warning signs that had been missed. The tragedy highlighted the need for greater awareness and intervention when young people express distress online. Community and national impact. The Marysville Pilchuck High School shooting had a profound impact on the community, the state of Washington, and the nation as a whole. In the immediate aftermath, the community rallied together, holding vigils and memorial services to honor the victims. Counseling services were provided to students, teachers, and families affected by the tragedy. The shooting also reignited debates about gun control, mental health, and school safety. Many questioned how Jaylen was able to access a firearm so easily and whether more could have been done to prevent the tragedy. On a national level, the shooting was another painful reminder of the growing epidemic of gun violence in American schools. It added to the ongoing conversation about how to protect students and prevent future tragedies. Reflections and lessons learned. As we reflect on the 2014 Marysville Pilchuck High School shooting, it's important to consider the lessons that can be learned from this tragedy. The signs of Jaylen Fryberg's distress were there, but they went unnoticed or unaddressed. This raises critical questions about the role of parents, schools, and communities in recognizing and responding to the mental health needs of young people. Additionally, the ease with which Jaylen accessed a firearm underscores the ongoing debate over gun safety and the responsibilities of gun owners. It also highlights the importance of secure storage of firearms, particularly in homes with young people. Finally, the role of social media in this tragedy cannot be ignored. While it can be a platform for connection and expression, it can also be a place where cries for help go unnoticed. The need for vigilance and proactive intervention in the digital age is more apparent than ever. Conclusion. The 2014 Marysville Pilchuck High School shooting was a heartbreaking and senseless act of violence that left a lasting impact on the Marysville community and the nation. As we remember the victims, Zoe Galasso, Gia Soriano, Shaylee Chuckle-Naskett, and Andrew Fryberg, and the survivor, Nate Hatch, we must also reflect on what can be done to prevent such tragedies in the future. By understanding the factors that led to this tragedy, recognizing the warning signs of distress, and addressing issues related to gun safety and mental health, we can work towards a future where such events become less common. Thank you for watching, and please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content on important and impactful stories. Stay safe and take care of each other.